Okay, so this is tier lists part 6, but it's really part 1 on this channel. This is a terrible camera angle. My laptop's on the floor, and the screen's all the way like bent towards the camera recorder, so it's probably not going to be a good presentation. This is NFL teams. I have to be quiet because everyone's home now. But this is NFL teams at this point in the season, which is 2 days before Thanksgiving 2022. This is where I think they'll stand at. I'll give a brief description on each team, and then I'll do the same template, only favorite teams. Yeah, but right now this is halfway point-ish kind of through the season. This is where I'm putting teams at. Okay, Bengals are in S tier. Burrow choked in week 1, mostly due to missing all preseason games with his kidney infection, or what was it? Appendicitis. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, if that hadn't happened, they would have beat the Steelers. They also lost by 3 points to Baltimore and Dallas the next 2 games, I'm pretty sure. So if they won those, they'd be 8-2 right now instead of 6-4. Actually, they'd be 9-1 if they got the Steelers won. So yeah, they are much better than they are playing right now, and as long as Baltimore keeps on regressing like they should make the playoffs easily. I don't think they'll go back to the Super Bowl, but I can definitely see them. I see them winning one playoff game and then losing either in the conference championship or division. I don't know really who. I don't know. I feel like Buffalo's going to choke again in the playoffs. Bengals might make conference championship. I'm not really sure. The Chiefs are probably going to be pissed again if they play the Bengals, which I don't think is going to happen. But I don't think the Bengals can beat the Chiefs again if that does happen. Also, the Chiefs are arguably the best team in football right now. So yeah, this might be the Chiefs again, probably. I mean, they have been relevant for the past 4 years, but I do see the Chiefs going far. But yeah, Bengals are S tier. Patriots are, I'll put them in C tier. They're in last place in the division right now, but they're still at a over 500 record. Bill Belichick's defense is great as always. Tom Brady gets a lot of credit for the Patriots dynasty, more so than Bill Belichick deserves. A lot of that was Tom Brady. Now that we've seen him leave the team and get completely new people, while still on a very good team, because most people go to whatever team Tom Brady's going to just as a thing to do. But yep. Mac Jones was good last year. He's kind of regressed this year. Yeah, Patriots need some good quarterback play, and they might be in. I don't think they'll ever be back to the dynasty days, but they might have like a playoff win every now and then for the next decade or so, until Belichick retires. But actually, he's like 77 or whatever. I don't think he's going to last that long. But yep, I hate this camera angle. I'm about to. My neck is in a position that I can feel my veins, and it pisses me off so fucking much. You do not understand. Steelers are, I'll put them in C tier too. I'll put them above the Patriots, actually. Kenny Pickett is deceptively, his stats are lying to how good he is. Every game he has, he throws pretty much 40 attempts. And that's a lot of just, he's in a bad situation. They're rebuilding. No one knows what's going on. He'll be a lot better in the next few years. Just trust me on that. As unfortunate as that is with Kenny Pickett, I think he'll turn out to be good. He's got the look. He's got the go-getter kind of attitude. Deshaun Watson with the Browns. The AFC North is going to be really hard for the Bengals to win the next few years. With the Ravens, with Lamar Jackson, Kenny Pickett, and Deshaun Watson. Yep. Yeah, but the Steelers, I'm not a really big fan of, but I do expect them to have some sort of success in the next few years. They do need some more players, and things need to be evaluated. Saints. I'm not really sure what to do for the Saints, actually. I'll put him in D tier just because Andy Dalton is your starting quarterback. I mean, like, for fuck's sake. He's actually not that bad, is the thing. Yeah, Andy Dalton had a real high ceiling. He always just didn't come through. He has a good amounts of professional, above average play, but he chokes too much and throws too many picks, and he's just not a reliable quarterback. Uh, Saints are kind of in a rebuilding kind of section. I don't know why you don't make Taysom Hill the full-time quarterback. That'd be at least interesting to watch. 49ers are honestly A tier. Trey Lance, I wasn't big on Trey Lance. I've never been big on Trey Lance, actually. He just has Kaepernick all over him. And I'm not saying that because of the obvious, but just he seems like he would uh, have a good season, do something dumb, and then pull a Kaepernick pretty much. And I have that feeling about a bunch of quarterbacks too on here, and I'll get to them too. Yeah, 49ers are a lock for the playoffs. They always do better in the second quarter of the year than the first quarter. Much like the Colts. Colts are like that too. They always do better in the second part of the year. Garoppolo should be like a 6-time Super Bowl champion if you count in. He should have beat Kansas City. He should have went there last year instead of the Rams, because the Rams, they're 3-7 right now. The Rams really went all in. It's a super team basically, and they still barely won, which is pretty pathetic when you think about it. Yeah, but Rams are now 3-7, which obviously is not good. Garoppolo did kind of choke last game, but yeah, Garoppolo, he's won 3 rings with the Patriots, I think. He should have 4 against Patrick Mahomes. He should have been. They went to the conference championship, I think, the year the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl too, so they could potentially be 3-time Super Bowl champions in the last 4 years, and they probably will make it far in the playoffs this year. I do think they will rally, and they got all that stuff. Christian McCaffrey, who I don't think is as big as a deal as everyone's seen, as everyone's saying. I think he's kind of the best parts of his career behind him, but whatever. Yeah, but 49ers are pretty much I would very much like to see a Bengals 49ers Super Bowl rematch from the 80s. I think that'd be neat. Yeah, 49ers are one to watch out for. I'll put the Cardinals in D just because Kyler Murray is he's not a reliable quarterback even when he's healthy. He's too short. Honestly, there needs to be like a height limit for. Need to be like at least 6'1" or so to be an NFL quarterback, just because it makes you so much more injury prone if you're shorter. You can't see over the heads of your opponents. You can't throw to receivers. It just makes you more ineffective, and it hurts you and your team, and hurts the sport to watch. And it's not a good thing. Cliff Kingsbury, he looks really generic and kind of in a bad way, if you get what I'm saying. Uh, yeah, Cardinals. I've never really been a fan of the Cardinals, but Kurt Warner should have won that Super Bowl with him. One of the best Super Bowl performances by a losing quarterback in the Super Bowl was Kurt Warner's Cardinals Super Bowl. I'm going to put the Falcons in B just because they have Mariota, and I'm not saying that to build Mariota up. I'm just saying that if they didn't have Mariota, if they had anyone else, I mean, if 49ers traded away Garoppolo to the Falcons, which I thought was going to happen before he got hurt, everyone was saying the Cowboys. I'm like, no, he's going to go to the Falcons. Actually, they had Mariota, so that wouldn't have happened. But yeah, Falcons would be like 8-2 with Garoppolo as quarterback because they have everything it takes. Kyle Pitts has got hurt, so their season's probably over. They're 4-6 with they almost won games by 3 points against the Bills, Rams, and I'm sure 3 or 4 other people came down to real close games. They still have a shot to make the playoffs. I don't think it's going to happen. They really need to start Desmond Ridder. If they lose 2 or more games in a row, they just should start Des Ridder for the rest of the season just to see what he's capable of. But yeah, I do think the Falcons are going to be good here pretty soon. Their uniforms are badass, by the way. That red and black is phenomenal. Yeah, but if Des Ridder is the second coming of, I don't know, but if he's a good quarterback, and that team gets some support, I can definitely see the Falcons being because Brady's probably out of here, which means the NFC South or whatever division the Buccaneers are in, and the Falcons and Saints and Panthers, the Falcons could have that entire division to themselves for the next 3 or 4 years because every other team sucks in that division, and yeah, I can definitely see the Falcons being a force to be reckoned with. I need to change this camera angle after this is done. Yeah, but okay, the Ravens, I'll put them above the Falcons, but they're still in B tier because they're somehow in first in the AFC North right now, despite playing pretty terribly. I mean, they just almost won. They almost lost to Carolina yesterday, which is so laughable. They've blown 20-point leads like 3 times this season, so they should be like 9-1 instead of 6, 7, and 3. I think is what they are. And they're just unreliable. Honestly, their kicker Justin Tucker bailed them out on at least one game. I think maybe even 2 games that they would have lost if they didn't have the best kicker of all time on their team. And yeah, Lamar Jackson is not really playing that well. I mean, he's not leading in any stats, I don't think. And yeah, I'm definitely Bengals over Ravens when it comes to AFC North. But you know, whatever happens, happens. Bengals' schedule is pretty much all. It's like Bills. It's Bills, Ravens, uh, Green Bay, and like some other really good teams. And that's all they have for the rest of the season. So you know, never know. Bills. No, I'm putting the 49ers in the S tier, and I'm also going to put the Bills behind the 49ers in S. Because the Bills were, they should have beat Miami. They should have beat the Jets. And Josh Allen has thrown like 5 picks in the last 2 games and is kind of looking not great. And it's just really depressing, honestly, because they should be 9-1 right now, or 10-0 even. And it just hasn't happened, and I have a feeling that, if Buffalo makes it to the playoffs, they'll have another disappointing failure like they've had. But they're still one of the teams to be reckoned with. They should have beat the Vikings too the other day. So yep. Yeah, I gotta do it. I was gonna put them in the D, but I gotta put Panthers in F tier. Uh, they traded for Baker Mayfield, which it's kind of, I mean, they kind of had to. He was like the only quarterback that was available. I still think Gardner Minshew should be a starting quarterback on an NFL team. Gardner Minshew is one of the most underrated backup quarterbacks of all time. He took the Jacksonville Jaguars when they were shit terrible and only had Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Fournette, and Gardner Minshew, which, I mean, are 3 really good players actually. But still, he took that team to the conference championship, or the match before conference champ, the divisional. And yeah, Gardner Minshew's incredible. I'm glad he's on the. I don't think the Eagles are going to win Super Bowl this year, like everyone's saying. I don't even think they're going to win the conference championship. But he is on the Eagles team, so if the Eagles do win, I'm glad he'll get a ring. So yep. What else? They traded away Christian McCaffrey, their best player. DJ Moore is probably their best player now. I just don't see anything from the Panthers. Yep. Bears. I gotta put him in the top of D. I could put him in C2, but I'm gonna do D. Justin Fields is getting better and better each game, which is still not good, because anything's better than what he was last year. I don't. He's a running quarterback, which is what Lamar and Mike Vick and all of them are. But I don't think Justin Fields has the star power, obviously, because he's new. But I also don't think he has the longevity. I think he's going to run out of steam here in probably 5 or 6 years, and he'll never be like as good potentially. But we'll see. I don't really like the Bears. That might be why he's in D instead of C. But or not. The team is the total. This is the total team, not just quarterbacks. But David Montgomery is decent. I couldn't even name the head coach of the Bears. But they're 3-7 right now. They have to win every single game, I'm pretty sure, to make the playoffs, which I don't think is going to happen. Since they're in, Green Bay's not going to make the playoffs either. What am I talking about? The Vikings will probably make the playoffs. Bears have a chance. I mean, they really do. Lions are also in that division. I think they have a chance too to make the playoffs. Lions are a lot better than they get credit for. All right, Browns will be in the back of B tier. If they had Deshaun from the start of the season, Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers would have been in real big trouble because I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be good right away since he hasn't played in 2 years and he's just recently been able to practice, and that's a long time to not be able to throw footballs if that's your main job. So he's going to expect him to throw 2 interceptions and no touchdowns on his first start. I think they'll still beat the Texans, obviously, because Texans are not good. But yeah, Deshaun Watson. I can see Deshaun Watson maybe not next year. I think he'll still have kind of a hangover from not being able to play for 2 years next year. But the year after next year, 2024, I think he's probably going to have an MVP season. A great season. Browns might be able to go all the way, but they're the Browns, so I'm not real too concerned. Browns have a great team right now, actually. Nick Chubb's the best running back in the league. Amari Cooper's one of the best receivers. They have a bunch of other players that do their job. Not Jameis Winston. 𝘚𝘵𝘴 Brissett. He's been decent. It's probably his best year ever as a quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he even played at all when the Patriots won their ring with him. So, yep. Brissett, he could be playing better. They're 3-7, I think, right now, too. So, yeah, it'd be a miracle for Deshaun they have to win their next 2 games and then win every single game. And since Bengals and Ravens are in their division, they still might not get a playoff spot even if they win every single game from here on out, which is not going to happen. So this is just what stats are going to count after week 13 anyway? Because that's when he gets to start. So it's not like he's going to set any records or anything. But, yep, he did that to himself, so I don't feel bad for the Browns situation. What was I going to do? If Deshaun went to the Falcons, that would have been scary, because the Falcons might have been instantly contenders, because their team is arguably better than the Browns, which the Browns are still good, Yeah, a lot of these just need quarterback or running back or wide receiver or a new coach, and then that instantly elevates them, obviously. Cowboys. Yeah, I'll put them behind the Ravens. Cowboys disappoint you every year. They haven't done anything relevant. They haven't done anything special in 20 years, and they're still the most popular NFL team for some reason. Dak Prescott's a choker. Cooper Rush looked like Joe Montana there for a while. And, Tony Romo is better than Prescott, but Prescott's got the job, obviously, because Tony Romo's 45. Quarterbacks only ever get their start in Dallas because the other quarterback gets hurt, and then they end up coming out blossoming. With the amount of talent and good quarterbacks and players in Dallas Cowboys, it's honestly pitiful and so sad that this terrible franchise hasn't won anything in the last 20 years, with all the talent they've had. So I don't know what that says. I guarantee you they're not going to win this Super Bowl. But they're still a decent team who can win, 10 games a season, pretty much, or go kind of 500, whatever. Broncos, they'll be the top of D tier. Broncos have never been interesting to watch, in my opinion, since Peyton Manning, obviously. I don't think they ever score more than 15 points, or 19 or 20 or something. Russ Wilson has gotten too much credit for the Seahawks dynasty, which Seahawks are probably my least favorite team of all time. When Geno Smith can come over and do a better job than you, you're kind of, I don't know, maybe Russ knew that his time was limited and just wanted the money from a deal, but the Broncos is where good quarterbacks come to die. It happened with Peyton Manning. Elway wasn't really ever good. If a man who, I don't know if it was because the Broncos kind of did that to him, but Elway went to 5 Super Bowls, right, and only won 2 of them. 5 Super Bowls, can you believe that? If he would have went to, I don't know, another team, imagine what he could have been. But the Broncos held him back a lot. The team was kind of crap when they were with him. The team's crap now. I can't believe you didn't. I mean, obviously they traded Tim Tebow for Peyton Manning, which is the right call. But Tebow was. Tebow should have had that starting job in Philadelphia for a lot longer than he did because he was outplaying whoever else was the starter at that time on the Philadelphia team. But Tebow could have been a good. I mean, Tebow could probably still start in the NFL. I think he's only like 30 something. So I don't know why Tim Tebow ended the way it did. He was what Taysom Hill is now, only better. So I don't know why his. I don't know. Yeah, but the Broncos are boring. They can't develop quarterbacks. And don't be using John Elway because they didn't draft Elway. The Colts drafted Elway, and Broncos got him. So they didn't draft Elway. They didn't build quarterbacks. Broncos can't build quarterbacks. That's just how it is. Okay, the Lions. I'll put the Lions. I'll put the Lions above the Falcons. The Lions are so good. They're fun to watch. They're deceptively bad because their stats make them look bad. Their final scores. They scored 45 points against the Seahawks and still lost this year. They through week like 5, they had by far the most points scored, beating Kansas City, beating everyone. They just need more players that are good. They just need some star receivers, better running back. Jared Goff is good enough to win games, but he's not like insane level. And the Lions could really be good right now if things were going differently. I still think the Lions could sneak into the playoffs since Green Bay and the Chicago Bears are probably most likely out. Detroit Lions could win a playoff spot, I'm pretty sure. So, yep. Same with the Jets. I think the Jets could sneak in too. Even though the AFC East or North or whatever is the best. It's the East. The AFC East is the best division of football right now. It's got the Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots, who are all over 500 as of right now. Okay, Titans. I'm putting Titans right here. Titans are second to the Cowboys and most overrated sports team of all time. Derrick Henry, every time I see a Titans game, Derrick Henry, he never impresses me despite being talked up as this god, and I understand that he's got the physical talents. Ryan Tannehill is a con artist, the way he's able to get all this money from terrible quarterback play. Julio Jones is, pretty good. Who else do they got? A.J. Brown? No, they don't have him anymore. But, real boring team to watch. There might be some shady stuff going on, honestly, because they just kind of have that vibe to them. I'm not going to say anything about that, though. Titans consistently choke over the years when they're in good spots, big spots. The AFC Championship to Kansas City. The Super Bowl against the Rams that they lost. Yeah, the Rams, both of the Rams, the Super Bowl wins, and the one they didn't win against the Patriots could have easily been. They came down to one play. So Rams could have 0 rings right now in the Super Bowl era. But, it's not good. Titans are just, I don't like them. Okay, the Packers, This is a really bad whatever. I'm putting the Packers behind the Lions because I believe in the Lions more than the Packers. I haven't counted out Aaron Rodgers yet, but if they don't win the next game, I probably will. He's definitely done after this season. He'll probably, I know he's going to retire and go host Jeopardy or whatever. He just looks so sad and cold and everything every time you see him. It's really sad how he wasn't in a better situation. If San Francisco would have drafted Aaron Rodgers, good lord, he'd have 9 rings right now. He would have won the Super Bowl in 2010. He would have won the one against the Ravens because the conference championship was Packers 49ers with Aaron Rodgers as the Packers quarterback. If he was the San Fran quarterback, they would have probably gone undefeated that season. Yeah, there's one. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers' first Super Bowl win would have been 2010 with the 49ers. And then in 2012 against the Ravens, because that game was winnable too for the Kaepernick-led 49ers. He would have won against Kansas City. He would have won against Buccaneers. And he would have won against the Rams last year. So that's 5 Super Bowl rings right there. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers not being taken by the 49ers is a bad call. Packers are a team that they, as soon as they get rid of their star quarterback, they're shit. They're terrible. They don't have every other position is always terrible. And yeah, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers left, which he will next season, prepare for the Packers to go 2-14. Kind of how Favre left, and then actually Aaron stepped up when Favre left. Rodgers did. But yeah, they don't have any skilled anything at any other position besides quarterback, and that's always how they've been for the last 35 years. So I would have liked to see Brett Favre as an Atlanta Falcon, because that's when he got drafted. That would have been interesting. All right, Texans are going in D. I can't put them above the Cardinals. I just can't, even though the Cardinals are terrible. Yeah, Texans, Davis Mills looked really good. Well, not really good, but better than anyone expected last year. This year he's kind of regressing because he's forcing throws because they're down by 10 or whatever, 20. And he's just trying to say, fuck it, I need, a touchdown or something. So I don't blame him for the interceptions, but he's in a bad situation. He constantly gets made fun of for his neck. Texans are just a bad team in general right now. I really think the Texans will be one of the teams to look out for in the next few years. Not in the 1 or 2 years, but like 4 or 5. Because they're getting all these draft picks from the Browns. They have 11 draft picks next year, I'm pretty sure. Same with the Seahawks. Seahawks are going to be unstoppable here in a few years with all their... the Texans will probably sneak into the playoffs 2 or 3 years from now. Seahawks will definitely make the playoffs this year and next year. Or I meant to say next year. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs this year, although I think they will. Seahawks definitely going to be a force to be reckoned because they got so many draft picks from Denver. So, Colts are an A tier. I have no idea why Matt Ryan was ever benched for Ellinger. I know he had the injury, but still, he shouldn't have been benched for that long. If they just run the ball instead of having Matt Ryan pass it and getting picked off and fumbled and sacked and all that shit, if they just ran the ball with the best running back in the entire league, second to Nick Chubb, the second best running back in the entire league, Jonathan Taylor, they'd be over 500 right now instead of just looking shitty. Although I'm not, the Colts will make the playoffs. I'm pretty sure this year they're 4-6-1. I do think they can win every game from now on. I've looked at their schedule; it seems doable. Colts always finish strong. They always come back the second half of the year. I don't know why that can't be the other way around and have them just be good. Benching Matt Ryan was terrible. He was leading in passing yards and something else before they benched him for some guy no one's ever heard of. What if you're gonna bench Matt Ryan? Bench him for the Super Bowl MVP, Nick Foles, who's on your roster. Like, for fuck's sake, like Nick Foles. Hello, why wouldn't he be over Ellinger? It's stupid. But yeah, Colts are a lot better than their record indicate. And that's how it is every year. They somehow make the playoffs or almost make the playoffs every year despite having 6 different starting quarterbacks the last 6 years, which is unbelievable for that team to have the amount of talent to still overcome that obstacle. I don't know how much of that was Frank Reich. Frank Reich might be underrated, underappreciated. We'll see. I mean, Jeff Saturday, if he keeps on winning, then I don't know if Jeff Saturday is going to be the coach next year, but who cares? I'd like to see it. who else is going to be hired? There's like no other coaches that need jobs right now. Everyone's got a team. Brian Flores, uh, he might be a coach, but he didn't do anything with the Dolphins last year, and now they're breaking out. So maybe he was justifiably fired. Who knows? I'll put the Jaguars behind the Steelers in C tier. Trevor Lawrence is still yet to break out like everyone said he would. I never really believed in him. I think he needs to cut his hair because there's no way that hair doesn't get caught in like a helmet or distract his eyes or something. He needs to cut the hair. He needs some support on the team, obviously. I think next year he'll probably be his best year ever. Still not going to be like a fantastic year, but I think next year will be good because they'll use their draft picks for some good people to help Trevor Lawrence out, and I hope Trevor Lawrence helps his people out. He gives the most unenthusiastic pre-team like warm-up motivation speeches I've ever heard. Just look on his Instagram. Hey guys, let's go win this game today. All right, that's how it sounds like. No, like jumping up and down. No, whatever. They kind of we're never gonna go get me that. And I'm just like, what a I don't know. He's kind of a tool. I've never really been a big believer in Trevor Lawrence, but whatever. I didn't think much of Patrick Mahomes either, and look how that turned out. Okay, Mahomes, they'll put them above. Actually, I gotta put him in S tier. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP frontrunner as of right now. He'll probably end up getting it since Josh Allen took a nosedive. Tua Tagovailoa might get it too if the Dolphins make a deep playoff run. But I think Mahomes gets some kind of bias towards him, so I think Mahomes probably will be the MVP. Unless he chokes again in the playoffs. Yeah, I can definitely see Chiefs winning another ring this year. I think at some point there's going to be a Dolphins-Chiefs playoff game this year or next year, and it'll be hyped up because of the whole Tyreek Hill thing. But yeah, Chiefs are a lock for the playoffs, and yeah, they'll probably go far. I can also see them being knocked out in the division round or something like that, and something. Okay, the LA Rams, they're better than the Titans, better than Patriots, better than the Jaguars, better than Steelers. Maybe. I'll put him in the back of B tier. Actually, yep. So, Matt Stafford was wasted with the Lions for 10 years. If he was another team, he probably would have 2 rings right now instead of 1. He's continuing to look kind of bad. I think he's probably going to retire, honestly. Not after this season, but maybe 2 or 3 more seasons. He's going to retire pretty soon. 1 or 2 seasons. And I'm glad he got his ring, even though they paid everyone. You know who I hate? Odell Beckham Jr., because he waits until half season to see who's winning, and then piggybacks on them and gets a ring with them. Like a real chump. He doesn't believe in the team from the start. He just goes to where the money is. It's very frowned upon. It's just, it's just not good. So, alright, Chargers. I'm going to put them behind the Cowboys just because besides Justin Herbert and Michael Williams and Mike Eckler, or Austin Eckler, there's not a single Charger that I know the name of. And I think that's a big reason why the Chargers aren't doing better than they do. Justin Herbert's never had a winning record. Same with Joe Burrow. But I am Burrow over Herbert, probably. Justin Herbert is hurt right now, which a lot of people don't take into consideration. He has been having painkiller things or something, pain meds or something, since week 1. And I think that has been hindering his performance, which is still good. But yeah, Chargers, I don't see the Chargers winning anything anytime soon. The Chargers are just every LA team right now is kind of a sad team. I say that like there's like 4, but there's only 2. But yeah, I don't see the Chargers doing anything this year. They need some star people that they don't have. And I don't care for the uniforms either. Alright, Dolphins I'll put in the A tier. behind the Colts. Tua will have an MVP. If Tua and Mahomes both make the playoffs but lose, I think Tua's not going to get the MVP nod just because he's not Patrick Mahomes. But he's 125 point something rating right now, quarterback rating, which is unbelievable. He's on par for, I think, 4,800 yards passing or something. So, I think Tua might be like a second coming of Dan Marino too, in the way that he's a good quarterback who never wins shit. So I think that might be a trend that happens. I still think Dolphins should have taken Justin Herbert because they would have been. Dolphins were 9-7 last year and didn't make the playoffs, but with Justin Herbert, they probably go 12-4 last year and make the playoffs definitely, maybe even a deep playoff run last year. But yeah, Justin Herbert should definitely be a Dolphin right now. He looks better in a Dolphin uniform. He looks like Dan Marino kind of, and it just would make a lot more sense for them to pick Justin Herbert. I'm not totally convinced on Tua just yet. If he keeps playing like this, maybe, because he's had terrible years by far. This far, quarterbacks get too much praise just from being from Alabama. It's kind of ridiculous. Vikings, I'll put them in the back behind Dolphins just because I'm kind of tired. They upset the Bills in a game that they should not have won. They're 8-2 right now. The Vikings are. They shit their pants yesterday and only scored 3 points against the Cowboys. But I still think they are the better team. Justin Jefferson's having the best year for a wide receiver like the last decade. And there's still like 7 more games left too. So I could see them losing. I could see them tanking right now and losing most of those games. I don't think that's going to happen. But it is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is he's Jimmy Garoppolo is what he is what Kirk Cousins is. Only I think Jimmy's better than Kirk. Yeah, so that's what I think about that. I don't think the Vikings will. I think the Vikings will make the playoffs. That's almost a lock right now, but I don't think they'll go far in the playoffs just because they are the Vikings. But whatever. Never. This is a team I don't think is gonna make the playoffs. So Daniel Jones is regressing to his usual. I think they've just gotten lucky because they've won their first 3 games by an overtime or something, or by 3 points to go 3-0 or whatever, which is what everyone's talking about. I don't think they're a good team. The Giants are. I think they just lucked into a situation. Now that they're facing actually challenging opponents, they're losing. If they do make it to the playoffs, I don't think it's going to be a Cinderella run like how it was with Eli Manning. Eli Manning's a terrible quarterback, by the way. I don't know how the Giants beat the Patriots twice, but that seems to be how it happens. Daniel Jones looks just like Eli Manning, so you never know. Maybe they'll go on a Cinderella run and win the Super Bowl again. That seems to be how it is with the Giants, but whatever. The Jets are going in A tier. If it was not for Zach Wilson, if they had any other quarterback in the league, pretty much, they'd be borderline unstoppable. Sauce Gardner, which is a dumb name. Sauce Gardner is the best in his position in the league right now. Bryce Hall is a good running back. Michael Carter is arguably behind Joe Burrow and a few Bengals players is my favorite NFL player. I have his rookie card signed, and all of his rookie cards actually. But Michael Carter, I do believe in him. I believe Jets will either make the playoffs barely or not make the playoffs barely. Since that is such a stacked division, I do not know what's going to happen. I do not trust Zach Wilson to lead any sort of good anything. This game a few days ago really, really sucked. Make Flacco, again, Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco is not your starting quarterback for some reason. Kind of like with the Nick Foles situation with the Colts. I gotta wrap this up here. Alright, Raiders. I'll put Raiders at the top of C tier. They have Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. Derek Carr's days are numbered because I think he looks like he's 40. He might retire, honestly. I think he'll probably go to the Colts next year. I think Matt Ryan will stay around for one more year. And if not, then Derek Carr is probably going to the Colts. or another team. Maybe he'll agree to the Texans or something. You know, you never know. I think I could actually see Derek Carr going to the Texans, honestly. It seems like a team. His brother was Texans quarterback. It just seems like that would be a good thing. Uh, Saints, possibly. I don't. Carolina, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I feel like he's going to be begging for any job he can get after either this season or next season. I don't think they're going to get rid of him just yet. Devontae Adams really likes Derek Carr. But yeah, Raiders were supposed to be doing a lot better. Yep. All right, Seahawks. I need to change this around. I don't know. So any of these four could be in any order. Actually, these three right here. But yeah, Geno Smith could be an MVP, honestly, if he keeps on playing like he's playing. He's like second in passer rating so far. Everyone wrote him off. He's come back. It'd be a good redemption story if Seahawks won the Super Bowl. He seems like a likable person. I am a fan of Geno Smith. I'm not a fan of the Seahawks. I think they're whiny, and I don't know. Seattle's a real hipster part of the world, and just I don't know. I'm not a big Seahawk person, but I don't know how much of the blame is on Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson for throwing that ball on the 1 yard line, but I'm kind of leaning toward Russ since he's terrible right now. But yeah, Seahawks will be good not only this year but next year and the year after that because they get so many draft picks from the Broncos, and their team's already good right now, and it's going to be even more elite the next few years. I can definitely see the Seahawks getting double-digit wins the next like 3 or 4 years. Because it's not just next draft round picks. They got like 24 and I think 23 too, or 25. Okay, Tom Brady's probably going to retire after this season, so everything really relies on this season, him playing perfectly, him ending it on a high note. Obviously Gronkowski. I really thought Gronkowski was going to go to the Bengals because then 𝘚𝘵 Uzomah got let go, who went to the Jets, hasn't really been doing anything. I really thought Gronkowski was going to go sign with the Bengals. That would have been funny. But Hayden Hurst is really good on the Bengals, and he's better than 𝘚𝘵 Uzomah by a lot. 𝘚𝘵 Uzomah doesn't do anything on the Jets. So yeah, the Buccaneers are. I mean, it's got Tom. Any team with Tom Brady on their roster is going to do something. I can see them making. So I see, yeah, Buccaneers will probably make the playoffs. Obviously, I don't know if they'll go far, but I feel like Tom Brady's probably going to retire, or he might sign with another team. You know, and you never know with Tom Brady. I don't think he'd be. Then he might sign with the Packers. Like who knows? Football is unpredictable. I don't see Tom Brady going to a team that is like lesser than him, like the Texans or something. Yeah, I think he's probably done after this. The Eagles. Eagles are 9-1 right now, and Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate. Even though he doesn't really wow me that much, he's a lot like Mike Vick, only without the arm is the thing. And yeah, he can't just like throw it like Mike Vick used to. But yeah, Jalen Hurts has improved. They did make the playoffs last year, which a lot of people forget. They lost to Tom Brady by like 45 points, but you know, whatever. Uh, I don't think Eagles are going to do much in the playoffs this year. I do think they're going to they're probably going to make the playoffs and maybe win one game. I don't see them winning a bunch of games. They could make it to the NFC Conference Championship. I just honestly, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl. Washington Commanders. The Washington Redacted. I'll put them at the top of C tier just because they beat the undefeated 12-0 Steelers a few years ago, and they just beat the undefeated 9-0 or 8-0 Eagles. Taylor Heineke should have been starting instead of Carson Wentz from the start. And yeah. They're 6-5 right now. They couldn't make the playoffs. Uh, Everyone always forgets that Washington almost beat Tampa Bay the year they won the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay only won that game by 3 points, I'm pretty sure. And Washington probably would have gone really far in that had they beat Tampa Bay. But yeah, in 2020, Washington almost beat Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. Or not in the Super Bowl, but in the playoffs. And yeah, let's see if I need to make any alterations here before I end the video. I was going to do a whole bunch of others, NFL and fast food, uh, Star Wars, what, actually not Star Wars, I don't know why I said that, but villains, movies, all sorts of stuff on this tier maker website. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Saints are better than Broncos. Patriots are better than... Actually, never mind. They couldn't score 3 points entire game last time. Some of this could be spruced up a little in A through C. I could move some stuff around if I really wanted to do it, but I don't really give a shit. I'm starving. So, okay, that's it. Bye.